If you are like most Americans, you spend approximately 2,080 hours of the 5,840 hours you are actually awake each year working. Statistics show that by the time you retire, you will have worked more than 93,000 hours, and during the 45 plus years that you are employed, you can expect to spend more than 35% of your time at work. If these numbers seem staggering, please keep in mind that the calculations are all based on a standard 40-hour work week, and they don't account for any overtime hours or the work you might take home with you. Considering the fact that we spend so much time working, is it any wonder that career is one of the topics that most occupies our thoughts and conversations on a day-to-day basis? And does it surprise you to learn that most people rate their overall happiness in life based to a large extent on how fulfilled they feel in their careers? Throw money into the mix, and the plot really thickens. A recent poll suggested that 9 out of 10 Americans say that money is the greatest source of their happiness. A similar study stated that money worries had more and more Americans completely stressed out. In fact, in 2015, 64% of Americans polled said that finances were a key source of their anxiety. And a 2018 poll indicated that as a society, our stress levels and concerns about money are increasing. In one of our programs on reducing stress and anxiety, the late spiritual teacher Louise Hay gave some really sound advice. She was speaking about the connection between our core beliefs and our ability to rise above challenges and thereby reducing our stress. Those whose core beliefs are grounded in ideas such as love, gratitude, and abundance experience less stress than those whose beliefs center around competition, fear, and lack. Louise shared a simple notion that is really very profound. She said, "A belief is just a thought, and a thought can be changed." So let's take a moment to just examine our thoughts. Now, the experts don't seem to agree at all on the number of thoughts the average person has each day. But according to my research, it seems to be somewhere between, say, 12,000 and 70,000. So it's probably safe to say that we think somewhere around 40,000 to 50,000 thoughts each day. And it's also been suggested that more than 90% of these thoughts are the same thoughts we thought yesterday. So we are clearly creatures of habit. Now, what's more alarming than this apparent lack of originality in thought is the fact that between 70 and 80%, so easily well over half, of our thoughts that we think each day are actually negative thoughts. So, take a moment just to let all of this information sink in. We spend more than a third of our lives at work. We consider money, and by extension our careers, to be a large component of our happiness. Our thoughts create our beliefs, and our beliefs create our reality. And 90% of our thoughts are directed toward the status quo. And around 75% or more of our thoughts are negative. So, are you sort of getting the feeling that something needs to change? And that something just might be your way of thinking more than anything else? My name is Jerome Emhoff, and I am a certified life coach and career coach with a thriving practice in California. For the past several years, I've been a student of a spiritual path, which is called A Course in Miracles. Now, the course is not a religion, but rather a self-study course of spiritual psychotherapy. One of the most prominent students and practitioners of the course is Marianne Williamson, best-selling author. Her recent book, The Law of Divine Compensation, will serve as a foundation for a really cool 4-part teleseminar I'll be presenting on the topic of work, money, and miracles. So what is the Law of Divine Compensation? Let me explain it to you a little bit. The Law of Divine Compensation operates on the premise that the universe is both self-organizing, and self-correcting, sort of like a GPS system. The universe has been programmed for your success and for mine. You are meant to experience abundance and ease. And when you don't experience the prosperity and abundance that is your birthright simply because you were created, it's because your own thought processes are blocking the divine flow in some way. You can release this blockage by shifting your perception or by changing your thoughts about the situation. To whatever extent your mind is aligned with love, you will receive divine compensation for any lack in your material existence. From spiritual substance will come material manifestation. Now, this is not just a theory, it's a fact. It's a law by which the universe operates, sort of like the law of gravity. So here is just a simple example of how the law of divine compensation could be applied in your daily life. A few weeks ago, one of my best friends called me because she was having a bad day and she was stressed. My friend is a very successful sales professional, but things weren't going well for her on this day. You see, a big client had canceled a project, which meant that not only was she going to lose the sale and the revenue, but the crew that was scheduled to do the installation for this client would be left without work to do. My friend said to me, Jerome, there is no way I can sign another client and have them ready for an installation this weekend. So, we've both been reading the law of divine compensation and talking for a few weeks about the concepts. So I reminded her that by focusing her attention on the loss, she was in fact keeping the universe from compensating for the lack that had been created by the client's cancellation. I told her that it was entirely possible that she would sign a new client in the coming days and that the client would more than make up for the revenue loss, and that possibly the installation crew might really enjoy having the weekend off. So I ended our conversation by saying, remember, the law of the universe is abundance. By being open to unlimited possibility, you can allow the universe to bring to you the opportunities that will demonstrate just how limitless the universe is. We chatted a little bit more, then she thanked me for the pep talk and we said goodbye. Not 2 hours later, my friend called me back and said, Jerome, I had to call you to tell you what just happened. So I decided I was going to shift my energy by changing my thoughts about this situation. And I had released my worries. Then, one of our past clients called me to tell me that they have a project for us, but we have to be able to do it this weekend. This client called to see if we might possibly have an opening for Saturday. Can you believe it? Of course I could. Because this is just a simple example of how the law of compensation works. So please understand that this is much deeper and much more profound than simply the power of positive thinking. We have the power to activate or deactivate this law based on our overall thought processes. We activate the law with loving thought and with our willingness to see situations differently, with our willingness to see challenges as opportunities and to realize that every problem comes programmed with its own solution. We deactivate the law when we are focused on the status quo or we give in to beliefs in competition and limited resources. As Marianne Williamson says, we deactivate the law when we give more credence to the reality and power of the material world than to the reality and power of love. The ideas I'm sharing here are merely scratching the surface of what I will be covering in the teleseminar, Work, Money, and Miracles, which will be launching very soon. If you're interested in learning more about that program, you can find additional information at the website www.divinecompensation.eventbrite.com. gmail.com. Just remember that Bright is spelled B-R-I-T-E in this case. I'll post a link in the comment section. You can also write to me via email at manifestingbrilliance@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to share with you additional information or answer any questions you might have. I'm really excited about this work and these principles. I do hope you'll consider joining me and opening your heart to the possibility that you are a miracle worker and that your current circumstances, whatever they may happen to be, can change, enabling you to experience more of the abundance, prosperity, and joy that you were created to enjoy. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.